My name is Terdema Ussery. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, in Watts specifically. The realization of race, because I grew up in an all-black community, wasn't something that I was really sensitized to until I was 11, 12 years old, because in our community, race was never a topic of conversation. Everybody looked the same, essentially. And my first real experience with otherness, if you will, was I played on the Yankees, which was a Little League baseball team in Compton, California. We won the Little League World Series for our region, not nationally, but for our little area. And the prize was tickets to Dodger Stadium and in the bleachers and a hot dog and a Coke. And so there were 11 or 12 of us in the back of a truck, and we got stuck in downtown Los Angeles because you have to go through downtown to get to Dodger Stadium. And I noticed that when we got stuck in traffic, people that were pulling up next to us were rolling up their windows and locking their doors. And I didn't understand what they were looking at, what they saw that would cause them to do that. Did they see, a future lawyer? Did they see Omar Bradley, who ended up being mayor of Compton? Did they see Alton Schaffner, who spent 30 years as an engineer at Boeing? Did they see my cousin Leonard, who spent 32 years in the United States Marine Corps? I don't know what they saw, but for the boys in the back of the pickup truck, that's what we became. And it was just a very, in some ways painful, because you could see fear in people's eyes, but also a very illuminating, for me, experience, because again, for the first time, I became acutely aware of the fact that, because of the way I look, they were making some presumptions about the person that I was. I think for me personally, one of the things I try to do anyway is, I've learned to look kind of beyond the superficial and to really kind of do what Dr. King implored us to do, and that is to try to judge people based on their character and how they treat you, because you never know. I've been in situations where I made assumptions about people that were 180 degrees wrong based on what they look like. So I think again, it's just it created or caused kind of a self-awareness, self-examination that has been beneficial, throughout my life. So I take people as they come, as opposed to what I see when they're coming. One beautiful thing about being in professional sports is it's one of the few areas where, in some ways, race is often transcended. Sports is about wins and losses, and when you talk to guys like now deceased, the late Jack Kemp, Bill Russell, Bill Bradley, guys who played when segregation was very much a part of our daily conversation. The one thing all those guys tell you is that in the locker room, once a guy suited up and put on a uniform and went on the field, you rooted for them as a Buffalo Bill or as a Boston Celtic or a New York Knick. It wasn't about your black teammates or your Hispanic teammates or your Asian teammates. It was about your teammate. And the color wasn't the color of their skin, it was the color of the uniform. It's one of the things I love about sports. It's one of the things that I think makes sports so unique. And that occurs not only in the locker room, by the way, but you'll often see. I remember being a little guy at the Forum in Los Angeles, sitting with my father at a Lakers game. And we sat next to people from Beverly Hills. And it was just interesting to me that inside that building, everybody was a Laker fan. Now, when we left, you could tell, depending on what highway people got on and which street they got on to exit the Forum, what neighborhood they came from. And in the case of my father and I, we walked home. But inside of the building, whether or not it was Beverly Hills or Inglewood or Hollywood Hills or some other part of South Central LA, the Laker fans were the Laker fans. And you were high-fiving people that you might not see outside that building. What that tells me is that if we find themes of commonality, things that unite us, that it is possible to transcend the negativity of race. We can celebrate differences, and we can celebrate each other and the unique places that we come from and the unique stories that we all have to tell. But in our case, the hope is that, at the end of the day, we're bound by our love of country, and even deeper than that, our love of humanity. Whether or not that happens or not in our lifetime, I don't know, but again, I've seen it in sports venues. I've experienced it in sports venues, and it tells me, as a result of it happening there, in that petri dish of 15 or 20,000 people, that it can happen, it's possible. We just have to, again, find those threads, those common threads that connect us, that mean more to us than the differences that we have.